I do want to put some reinforcing tape on these just to hold them down. I'll get that done now and then we'll come back. So here's the block. These two wires are coming out. This is the ESC and the LEDs. This is the aileron and the flap. They used to come out of here. They're now coming out of slits either side of this foam that were already there. And that's the power. So I'm now going to attach that wing. Oh, the other thing I've done before I attach the wing, I should show you here, is this aerial needs to run along there, and I've taped it, and this aerial, the longer one, just comes straight forward, and that's they're at 90 degrees with each other. I'm mentioning this because it was bent forward and you cannot leave it like that. Right, so I'm going to see if I can get this on now. As I said, that EC3, I think they're called, aren't they, these things? EC3, that'll have an adapter put on it for an XT60. You can't see any of this, I'm afraid, but I'm just going to connect up. So I want flap to flaps. They don't go in very well. They're a bit shoddy, I think, in the manufacturing. I'm going to take these because they just don't connect well. Wow, they're really poor. No one's mentioned that either, I bet. These are terrible. My God. Honestly, they are the worst connectors. What is wrong with these? Not going in well. Bad show. I think I pushed them out here. Absolutely appalling. What a load of junk. Oh, they're all bent. Some people might say that was me. I can assure you it wasn't. They're already bent. Horizon Hobby, this is atrocious. Right, they're all connected. Now instead of having a massive cable now going on top of the servos, I can literally just drop all of these behind the servos. This is brilliant. Why hasn't anyone else done this? And if they have, why haven't they put it on video? Okay, that really has dropped in there nicely. I can put that in and just turn it to do it up. Funny old bolt, isn't it? I'm not trapping any wires. It's nice and tight. Well, the next thing we've got to do is clip these wing struts in. That's these things. And I don't think there's any right or left. They all look the same. They all look quite poorly moulded. I think that goes into there. And then it just clips into there. Poorly moulded, but fit very well. So that goes sort of slot in there. And this just pops into a plastic. Now before we go any further, I just want to do a quick repair on this nose. So that magnet should be there like that. And when you close the hatch, it pops it down. The problem I've got is it's not glued in, so it comes off. There it is there. So I want to just put a tiny bit of epoxy on that and then we'll come back. Hasn't been long for you, but it's been a bit of time for me. So I've glued this back in place for the Canopy. I've put an adapter on the EC3 to make it an XT60. I've done a safe select bind and switched it all. So that's all okay. I'm going to try and use these Turnigy 2650 milliamp hours. They're 30 to 40C discharge, so the discharge is fine. So I should get a little bit longer time than I would get with a 2.2. And because it's nice, flat and long, it should fit in there quite snugly and nicely. I've used it to bind. I know the binding's good. My surfaces are good. So the connections I've got in place, such as the flaps and the ailerons, all work absolutely perfectly, as does the rudder. I haven't had to reverse any of the servos, so that's all good. The lights all come on and the motors run. So the next stage is to put the tail feathers in place. Here's our beautiful horizontal stabilizer and elevator. Now it can only go in one way because the clevis is over here, the horn's over here, so it's got to be pushed in this way. And I guess, oh, you can go too far, that's interesting. So before I connect up, I'm going to screw that in. It says connected up first, but I'm going to screw it in. And I might need some special glasses to see what I'm doing. This uses our standard screws that we've got with everything else, in everything else. And I can see what they're trying to get you to do here. Because this is still loose, what they want us to do is to connect this up. I can't see a thing here. Excuse me. Like that. Then they want us to line this up and put the screws in. Quite a good way of doing it, I must admit. And would you believe the holes on this side that you can't see have lined up perfectly. I do have to take these off again, I'm afraid, because they don't have any rubber bands holding them on. Talk about the clevises to the horn. And I do like a bit of rubber to hold my clevises onto the horns. Now they're screwed quite in tight, but they are dropping, facing downwards. So over time, there is a possibility they could vibrate loose and drop off. So I am going to cover them with a tiny bit of reinforced tape. It's on the underside, so no one's going to notice. Right, that's it, done. Excellent. It's all in place. I do want a little bit of reinforced tape on them, as I said. You can see here I've got a little bit of tape. I'm putting that right over there. Whoops, up against the fuse. Taping it down. And that will stop those screws ever dropping out. Right, that's excellent. I think that's it, Let's take a look. So according to the instructions on the addendum, I now have to add these. Now obviously they go forward that way, and taking a close look at the picture, these little teeth on them are on either side. They need to go downwards, because what they do, they pop out the other side of this tailplane and they hold it in place. So I'm just going to do that now, see how that works. Yep, there you go, little teeth holding that in place. So once these are in, you're not getting them out, so it's important to check how they go. And that's how they go. They look pretty neat, don't they? There we are. Let's switch it on. I'll get this plugged in first. I'm going to hope that's going to go down there nicely. Yeah, it does. I think it interferes that way with the steering wheel. With the front thing. Let's get that done. Keep it level. Right, that's it. We've got our nav lights. You can see the green one over there. You can see this one here on the tail, red one. And also just down here, I'll show you there. So you get a red and a white one flashing, and you've got the white one flashing over there. If I zoom in, you'll see it on the black. There you are, you can see that. So we have right, left. These are high rates according to the manual. So their high rates are 100%. I put 30% expo in. Then they say you should go straight to low rates, which is 70. So I've made their low rates my medium rates. That's 100, that's 70. With 30% expo. And then I've gone to 50%, which is my low rate with 30% expo. I've got the same on the elevator. Up, down. Rudder, same, and then flaps. So that's 100% down. That's 50%. No, actually, that's 0. And then that's 100% negative, which makes them level. And there is elevator mix in that. Again, based on the manual. You can hardly see it move, but it is moving, I can assure you. That's all good. The only thing I want to add is an aileron rudder mix. So I'll get on and do that now. I'm going to whack those props on. Now the props are counter-rotating. That should be pretty obvious. This one rotates into the fuselage. So you want the leading edge of the prop to face that way. So this is definitely this side. No, I've got the prop on wrong. Sorry. My bad. This one goes on here. And it rotates in towards the fuselage. Let's do this green one. So this prop, I love the zebra props. Actually, it's one thing I didn't do when I bought this. I didn't buy it. Cool, that's tight. Blimey. Blimey O'Reilly. Ah, right. So I want to hold the shaft, and this undoes this way. That's it. Now, where's my little bag here? I've got a tiny little bag here with the 2 screws. They are spinner screws. So inside here there's a little plastic tube, and the screw has to go in through the hole in the tube, which itself is very tight, and then it screws into the shaft of the motor. What I'm doing is I'm pushing it through the tube. You can see it there stick out. It won't come out, and then I'm screwing it into the motor shaft. There we are. It fits perfectly across there. I will be putting some non-slip shelf lining in. I don't need to connect it right now. I just want to test for the centre of gravity. Yeah, very nice. There we are. Page 7. 45 plus or minus 5mm back from the leading edge. And as it's a high wing, we will be measuring it this way. It's interesting. What's that? Oh, the servos. Right, so let's measure it 45 back. Yeah, you can see here these come down. It's not straight, so don't measure it from there. Let's Turn it upside down. See here on the picture it shows it straight across, not this piece that comes out. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this black and white dividing line to mark where the centre of gravity should be, which is 45 millimeters from the front. That's 45. There. So this is 45 here. And I'm going to do my normal thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is put my centre of gravity markers on there. There's one marker. Put my other marker on this other wing. Right, I've got the battery in there. It's where it is going to be. Let's see what we've got. Oh yes! That's brilliant. That's exactly 45 for the leading edge. That's absolutely fine. 45. I'm happy with that, and it balanced out perfectly with that 2,650 milliampere hour. That's her built. Not only is she built, she's set up and ready to go. Everything's centered. I didn't have to do anything with the trims. We'll see what happens when we take off. Yeah, so that's really happy with that. I've just got to find one of my anime girls to put on the nose. And you don't need to hang around for that. So next time I see you with this one, it'll be up the flying field for a maiden. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay well, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video. Cheers.